here. Sometimes mbozi mumotoka mwe nyuma. Morning boss, I've got one already yesterday. I hope it will be fine.
You got to.
Good morning JK, good morning. So Patrick Asiku. I hope you guys are doing well. Yeah. In Bayef, the Bereje, it's raining like it was sent to rain on us. Yeah. But I hope you guys are doing well. Joseph, morning. Martha, morning. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm also okay. So I want you to help me call this number. Let me 773 64 30.
206430.
Yes. So I hope you guys are doing well today. It's very wet and cold. It's wet and cold, but it's okay regardless. We'll move as long as we are not sick and we are okay.
Hello?
Rainy season is the best time to look for land. You get to see the worst that can. Yeah, definitely. I remember there is a piece of land that I bought during the dry season, and when the rainy season came, that's when I realized it was a wetland. During the dry season, the land was hard. The guys, said when I want to one wakalu. Kumbe. We were actually in a wetland. So when the rainy season actually came, we learned the hard way. The sound, this one, that's in my steering rack. So I'm going to put a new rack, but I want to put the new rack as I put a new engine. Yeah. Good morning, Adrian. Yeah. The sound is in my rack. I want to put it. I want to change it as I change the engine. I want to put both of them at was. That's why I'm not changing it. And I think what happened to it is that water entered the rack. Omanyi, these new cars, their steering racks are electronic. That's what the mechanics call it. I don't know what you would call it, Bunga engineer. These new racks, they don't have, they're not hydraulic based. So buriyawo. So I think water entered there, and now it's the rubbers that are reacting. That's where I used to buy the Dudu spare parts. And you would come and the guy would be very expensive. Yeah, the story of the Spacio and how it worked out. Anyway, so by the way, Arthur, you had said you will change the engine in March. One of your year's goals. What went wrong? Did you postpone? I actually have the money, but I have a pending project, and I find that it doesn't help for me to put a new engine in my car and then borrow a lot of money to do my project. So I want to first finish my project and then put the engine. I think it's the same thing we were talking about a few days ago. It doesn't help for you to have all those luxurious things, because the engine for my car is actually luxury, because even the engine that is here is still moving. So if you can give me another like 2 to 3 months and I finish the kind of the work I'm going to do, it would work. Remember how I was talking about someone buying a car at like 30 million, and they get to a point where they need 15 million, and then they have to sell the car they bought at 30 million to raise 15 million. So they sell the car they bought at 30 at around 22. So they are losing money. If they could have bought like a car at 15, let's say they would have still had like a 10 ma lying down there waiting to do whatever they have to do. So I'm keeping my car money to first finish whatever work I need to do, because the kind of work I need to do requires me to have a lot of money. Even that is not enough, but at least with that I reduce the amount of money that I have to borrow. And then yeah, so that's happened. They are still mechanical. Yeah, I don't get the point when these mechanics said it's electrical, because in a way this steering rack has no electronics connected to it at all. It's just there. It just doesn't have an load. It just is not hydraulic based. Yeah, it makes it good but also bad, because the hydraulic steering racks never did this. If the hydraulic pump was working and not leaking, you'd be safe for all time. But now these ones, it just all of a sudden starts making noises. Yeah. So, but I hope you guys are doing well, but I think it's okay if you bought a car at 30 million and sold it 22 after several years. No, actually, the guys that I'm talking about don't even drive it for years. Ajivuga emyezi ng'etaano, then yetaaga sente n'emusala million 8 okitegeera, and that's a lot of money for a car, for you to lose in a car that you bought new, because bond is new for us. Depreciation, and kati olaba JK, 8 million in a couple of months is a lot of money to lose. It's a lot of money. You see, like JK, if you bought your Kawondo at like 36 in this is April, right? And then you drove it for 2 months and sold it 35, that ideally would be okay. But if you bought it in April, drove it for like 2 months and then sold it 25, you'd be losing 10 million in like the fastest period of time. So that kind of luxury, for me, I personally find that it would not be worth it, losing 10 million in like 4 months or 5 months. And that's what happens to people. Especially when you buy a car when you have not calculated all the risks that are involved, all the things that you need and all that. That's how I postponed. I was supposed to put that engine in March, and then the steering rack. So I'll put probably June, end of June. Exactly, but JK, that's what happens to most of the guys. So many times it happens to people. Guys, and I know it's not Question Friday. It's that someone is selling at 14 million. My only issue is the number plate because it's a UAP. Anti kakati. Resale. Now, Sammy, I really don't know what to say because sometimes the number plate is negligible. Because I've seen people that have UBEs that look like shit. You get, and I've seen people that have their cars at like, you see, that's a UAN Corolla there, but it's still intact. You get, of course, the silver is not as good looking as my silver because my silver is like silver gold. But that car, the only injustice done to it was the color. So anyway, the number sometimes, Sammy, is, as long as the car ticks all the other boxes, the engine is good, the gearbox is good, the body makes you happy, the interior makes you happy, and all that. And then sometimes when you're buying a car, sell is something that you might first put aside because all cars will depreciate. And you need to understand that the money you have, the more the better things you get to access. But what in a sentence, don't know. I'll, for example, tell you that a person that has 40 million, 45 million in our estate, there are chances that they can get an acre of land. However, a single plot of 50 by 100 is 15. Yet an acre has about 7 plots, including when you have already even put the roads. You get? So a person that buys an acre of land can make 70 million, yet they invested 45. So the more money you have, the good things, the better the things you have. So you have to ask yourself, at 14 million, what other Alex offer do I have? Normally, that's when it pays to go to the market and do a survey, talk to a number of brokers and ask them, how much can I get, Alex? But then you also need to understand that there is no way you're going to get the Alex that is healthy at less than 14. And it's your brother or sister that is selling it to you. Like someone that we helped buy a car sometime back told us a sister of his was selling to him a Mark X UBE at 10 million, and it was in good condition, but it's him who got scared because of the fuel. But you can imagine someone selling you a UBE Mark X that you have already verified is in good condition at 10 million. So these are things that don't happen every day. You get. So I would definitely tell you, Sammy, that sometimes it's negligible to think about resale value versus how much are you buying and what condition the car is in. Yeah. Because ideally, if you're buying the Alex, I know that you really want the Alex. So pay attention to that, and then pay attention to the other details that we normally talk about on this channel. And if it ticks all the boxes, I find that 14 million would actually be fair. Remember, we bought a Spacio US at, what was it, 16.5. You get. But trust me, right now I see UBFs that don't even equal the Spacio that we bought. And you can find UBFs being sold at 16, 15, you get. But the condition of these cars is what will alarm you. Like, you'll find that the good thing that this car has is the number plate. And it happens to so many people that buying but focusing on the number plate. So I would definitely tell you that 14 would be okay if the car is in. The car checks out everything, all the boxes. And then Olaba, what JK has said, that you have to calculate the number of years that you're going to drive that car. If you're not the kind of person that buys a car and then you drive it for a month and get tired, you're going to drive it for like 2 to 3 years, and trust me, the Alex will not lose a lot of value. There are chances that you bought it 14, you drive it 2 to 3 years and sell it 12 minimum. You get, as long as you keep it in good condition, because that's another thing. You don't want to buy a car and drive it badly and then expect it to keep its value. There are chances that you can actually buy it 14 today and sell it 14 2 years from now if you keep it in good condition. I told you I bought my car 5 million and at 8 million Sijikuwa, and I've had offers of 8 from brokers, not final buyers, from brokers that will ideally sell it at 10 or 12. And when we were looking for Nicholas a car, we found a Corolla that surprised me. It was at how much did it cost? It was at 9. It was a UAW, and I was actually surprised that that car was on sale at that price until we reached it in Gedimo accident mass, which was negligible because the kind of accident that it had, was minor monomass. So it's something that you can ignore it, and we noticed it because it was just the person that repaired or that did the panel beating poorly did the panel beating works. So what advice would you have for someone who has the love for Subaru Forester 2008 model and would want to purchase one, and what's its current market price? Right now I wouldn't tell you the market price, Kevin, but it's a good car. Subaru is a good car. The maintenance is a little higher than Toyota, but Subaru is a very good car if you have the money to maintain it. A friend bought a Chigege for 25 million and sold it 12 million in 4 months. He learned the hard way and hasn't bought a bad car since. Yeah, definitely. But this car checks all the other things. Engine is okay, the body is perfect. I take that back because he imported Alex Trail. He drives on weekends and uses a Primo most of the time. Yeah. Chigege 25. There are so many things that influence people to sell their things. Someone will sell because they have a problem and they need money urgently, which is a position I wouldn't wish anyone to go into. Okay? I wouldn't encourage that you sell something very fast simply because you have a problem. I would actually recommend that you never use all your money to buy things like cars, to build a house. I would always recommend that you keep some money that will do the kind of work that you may need to do depending on your line of work. Also, people sell because they are tired. Katingoyo Wachigigi, I don't know why he sold, but there are possibilities that the thing wasn't making as the money he expected, or the driver kept it telling him that a food dechi, and he got tired and said and sometimes it's a good decision for someone to make. Good morning, Joseph. Good morning, Nathan. True Arthur, I saw a UBD that looked way sexier than a UBG Kawundo. Definitely, those things happen, and that's why I personally wouldn't say the number plate. Sometimes the number plate doesn't really matter. I almost told him Gambe sister who come 1 million years of kumi, because the Mark X UBE, if it's in good condition, 10 million is a bargain. If it's in good condition, which he says it was. But then I thought, okay, this person must be selling 10 million to her sibling, not to any other stranger. Yeah. Was it a fender bender? Okay, I don't know what fender bender. What is a fender? Arthur, with due respect, I operate on a budget, but I wouldn't encourage people buying cars out of bond. A car bought from the bond is reliable most of the time. Gideon, if you know how to pick your cars, it's like telling someone. I wouldn't recommend someone to buy to build their own house when they are finished houses there. I personally think that this is subjective. It depends on your approach, it depends on what you believe in, and it depends on your budget as well. Why I'm saying that is that, Gideon, some people don't have the amount of money to go to the bond, and the only option they have is to actually buy a car out of bond, which I personally would not go to the bond and borrow a car. What the thoughts come up once in a while, and I say, okay, we can afford to borrow a car from the bond and pay their 1 million every month and be done in because we can afford it. But in a way, it doesn't make sense. So that's why I tell people, actually, for me, it makes sense to buy a car at once. For example, the person Nicholas Yaguze Spacio, he bought the Spacio 9 million. There was a visitor that was 9.5, and it was in better condition than the Spacio. However, the visitor, the owner, who's a doctor in Mulago, was selling the why don't you go with all your things and I go straight?
Fender bender means a minor accident between two vehicles.
Check now in all the zone. Don't do all the zone. I give you money. Now. Why can you do it? Me count. So Jack, apparently yes, it was a fender bender. I've learned what a fender bender means. You count. I've learned what a fender bender means. But anyway, it wasn't really a fender bender because even the airbags came out. But it was negligible. They were selling it at, I think, 9.5, which I found to be a little exaggerated in prices. So this person, we saw a Spacio, which was okay. These guys were selling the Spacio. They had stopped at 9.3, but brokers, bichi. And then the visitor was 9.5. It was it belonged to a doctor at Molago. It was good. It checked out all the boxes. It was VVTI, like I tell you. But this guy wanted 9.5 million, and then the car had police receipts of 600,000. Okay, almost 600, 570 or something. And he wasn't willing to deduct the popular. And our initial budget was 8.5, but we could not find a car at 8.5. Okay, so of course what we had to do was stretch a little, and we stretched a little, and that's how we got to net. Okay, so we stretched a little, and then that's how we bought the Spacio. But how we came to buying the Spacio, Gideon, was that the Vista is in very good condition, but it's, first of all, it's out of our budget, way out of our budget, and also it has police receipts of like 600k. But also on top of that, on top of the police receipts of 600,000, the Vista compared to the Spacio, of course the Spacio is the old model. The Vista compared to the Spacio has resale value. So we would get our money quickly if we wanted to sell the Spacio faster than the Vista. So we had a lot of, normally when you're buying something, you have a lot of considerations that you put into play before you get it. So, are you sure? He didn't need money. I was keeping a lot of his money for him. Yeah. So I bought my first car from someone, but I pumped a lot of money in it. I will personally never ever buy a car that's not in the bond. Gideon, it's one way to look at it. I tell you that I would not discourage anyone that has money to go to the bond to go to the bond. The bond cars give you peace. But Gideon, I will tell you that I drive a bigger distance than you every day. But my car has never broken down on the road. I tell my engine Najigula, Masaka, you're deep down in Masaka. It wasn't in the best shape, but it has never broken down on me on the road. it gives me, I think, the mileage I get is the mileage you get in your car that you bought 36. I bought mine at 5.5. As long as you know what you're picking and you know the circumstances you're in, it will definitely work for you. But we were discussing, I think, yesterday with someone, and we were talking about some decisions that you have to make, applying your own math. Okay. Since I bought my new car last year, I only service, nothing else. I can't buy new from Toyota Uganda, but I can buy for a used car that is reliable. Okay, Gideon, let me try to do. The reason why I tell you to always have individual math is this. I will tell you that I bought my car old, but I've not invested even half of the money. Even I think half is an overstretch. I've not even gone even halfway the half of the money you bought your car. And personally, I think the distance I've driven in the past 6 months is bigger than the distance you've driven in a year since you bought your car. And I can also tell you that my car is reliable as hell. It's too reliable. And I also service. And I did service. Yes, I'm going to put a new engine. But even if I didn't want to put a new engine and they just gave me my 8 million in this car and I got 2 million and I bought another car, I'll still buy a car that is reliable. I think Gideon, watomera the very first time. And you remember when we kept saying don't make a permanent decision based on temporary problems. We were discussing yesterday with some of my friends, and we were saying that of course, looking at the situation that majority of us in Uganda live in, if I had 50 million on the account, on my account, okay, but of course these are things you learn as you grow. But this is an opinion that I shared with some of course in the discussion we were about 5 people, and some disagreed, some agreed. Like we have different thoughts on stuff, and I want to buy a car. Does it make sense for me to go to the bond and buy a car at 50 million if I can get the same car outside the bond at 20? So that I keep like a 30 ma? Because reliability is not only based on the fact that you buy a car that is foreign used. I will tell you that I have friends that have bought foreign used cars from the bond, and specifically the only reason they bought those cars was to get peace. They did not buy those cars because they would not fix. Because like I will tell you that personally, I service every 2 months. I service my car every 2 months, and it's because I literally drive the distance of here to where, to Mbarara and back about every 10 days. I think every week, because I do 85 kilometers a day. That means I do 170 every 2 days. That means every 4 days I do more than 300 kilometers. That's to Mbarara, which Tegera. And Botagatamu, a week is 7 days. So, okay, let's say 6 days, because sometimes Sunday I try as much as possible to not leave home. So Gatagatamu, what distance I actually do in a week, and then you will know what I'm talking about. So I cannot say that your car is much more reliable than mine because I do a bigger distance than you. But of course, one thing you need to understand is that a car gives you peace. A new car will give you peace. So if you can afford to go and buy it and also keep money, because we are young people, whether you like it or not, we are young people. That's one thing you need to understand. And I personally want to tell you that this. So you basically need to understand. We've seen stories of people, and this is why I make the decisions the way I make them, and this is why I encourage the guys that have not bought cars to make the decisions this way. We've seen stories on TV, and I don't want it to first come to you for you to know that it happens. Okay, we've seen stories on TV where people say we had a good life and then things changed. And then when things changed, that's when we realized bichi. What I'm saying is, you buy a car at 50 million when all you have is 60 million. And then it gets to a time when you get, let's say, an issue or an emergency, or because why I'm saying an emergency is because emergencies are not called. And then the only asset you have is that car. And then you bought it at 50 million. But you have to ask yourself, should I get this issue? And let's say your car is still worth the 50 million you bought it. How many people have the 50 million in cash and they would be willing to invest it in this particular car? And even if they were willing, will they find it a worthy investment? That's why I'm telling you, if I had 50 million and I wanted to buy a car and I can get it out of the bond, use that 20, I would buy it 20 out of the bond. I've never seen old cars that disturb. Personally, I've driven old cars. Gideon Go, you may have bought your first car and it was old and it disturbed you and you stopped. I've driven more than 20 cars and they were all old. But along the way, I learned that how do you pick an old car and enjoy it. And that's how I've come to probably buy a car at 5 million and drive it for 2 years. And I've never had this car break down on me on the road. And it doesn't mean that we said I'm better mugaji. No. It has sounds that I know that these are things that don't stop me from moving. And remember, you guys have been telling you time and again, don't panic. Don't panic when you're buying a car. When you buy a car, don't panic. I've seen people that panicked and they regretted. They don't know that the regret should be regretting to panic, but they should be they start regretting buying a car. Gideon, there is a possibility that you bought a car and you panicked never kuba. Let me give you an example with the Spacio we bought. But mechanic, no. There is a car I bought for someone. The Spacio is in very good condition. There is a car I bought with someone, and then normally when I buy a car with you, I tell you this is what you should do, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. Now, majority of people that buy old cars, they don't know the process of actually having an old car and having peace with it. So they panic. Because for you it's a new car. So you want it to feel like it's new. It will never feel like it's new no matter how much money you put in. I think, Gideon, that's what might have happened to you. But also, when you're buying a car, which person are you buying it with? I've told you time and again, brokers don't care about you. Brokers don't care about you. And chances are high that that mechanic of yours still doesn't care about you. Right now, Gideon, you think you have peace because you have not had the cause to go to a mechanic. Naye moroka yempya senga ogisamu oil omubi engine neekuba. Okitegeera nga tolina sente zigula engine at that time bajja kubba. Okitegeera, and God forbid, but what I'm trying to tell you is that I've seen instances where people regretted. There is a guy, Primo Ngazaka, just the new models, as they had just come, I think it was around 2014, 2013 there. A guy went to the bond and bought a Primo new model on credit. Ngaya Banja. The Primo new model had just come. He was a rich guy. He had trailers. And he bought it, he drove it for a week, the engine blew. Now, I don't know if it was his fault or not, but the engine blew in the engine blew in like a week after he had bought it. So the mechanics told him to jisibebichi. They did negano kuterera, and he was really angry. And this is a car from the bond right now. He was really angry that the engine was not quiet. That's why I'm telling you guys normally, VVTi engines, don't try to overhaul, just buy a new engine. And what he decided was he was not going to pay these Pakistanis their money. He went and parked the car at home in a garage. I don't know how that story ended, but that's what he decided to do. But what I'm telling you is that even a new car, if you're, they say luck is the best friend to someone that is prepared. Me, I'm prepared. So bring an old car to me, and I'll definitely buy it at a fair price and keep it on the road. I'll give you an example. My mechanic just bought a Spacio new model from Chisoro. it has a faulty engine. He bought it on a car carrier. I can tell you that he's going to put a new engine. He was actually telling me, "Atachusa engine you pay you take him, you get." And I'm telling him, "Sagaranze papa, I have a timeline and I want to stick to it." So he's going to buy a new engine and put it in that car, and then they will sell it at about 14, 15. Which again, I don't know how much he bought it, but all I'm saying is that knowledge is power. Which again, knowledge is power. That's why normally omuntu atayina magezi atayina kutegeera na kumanya twagala omuyita omusiru because if tuyina okumanya n'okutegeera. But some people don't have the knowledge and the wisdom and the experience because they have not been exposed. You get? I think personally I could have bought a new car from the bond even like 10 years ago, but I did not know that they were that cheap at that time. Because I had the money, but I did not know they were that cheap. So I did not have the knowledge. So I kept buying these used cars, but I don't regret even buying the used cars. Because then I gathered the knowledge that I can share with you people here, and then everyone can gain the knowledge. And apparently there are people that have bought used cars with me and I don't regret. I can tell you that I've not gotten a complaint with someone and na papala he went to another mechanic and that's the person that probably had a bit of regret. All the other guys, if you bought a car and after sat you down after you have bought this car, do this, all those guys are actually happy. And Gideon, there are people that I would encourage to buy cars from the bond, and there are people I would not encourage. There is a lady, for example, the lady we bought a Succeed with. Now that lady was in her, I think, 50s or 60s. She had the money. Later on, I realized I made the right decision to make her go to the bond. But when we went to her home, she has like what you would call a mansion right now. She lives on like 5 acres of land in Wachiso, and she had an old car which we found parked in the compound when we took the car to her. And even right now as we speak, she like doesn't drive the car for like 2 weeks. She has a farm on her land. She was raised and went to school in the UK, so she just came back here. And now I was too happy that I made her buy that new car from the bond. But there are people that should not be buying cars from the bond. And I don't want to seem like I'm too knowledgeable or something, but this is my personal experience because I've seen people that went through this. Let me just go through the comments here. JK, I learned of this Arthur and his channel just last year end. Yeah. Is a friend of mine having bought a UAH 400 at 5 million, but the engine is not okay. I was thinking of negotiating. I buy it at 4 million, then target get a new engine. My plan is Uber. It's a good move. Is it a good? Which car? Which car though, Adams? Like I said, that's your experience, John. Many people buy Ugandan used cars and never have problems with them, like you did. Yes, JK. So many people. We bought a Kluger at 15. It was over UAY. He has never had problems. Good morning, Daniel. I'm good. I hope you're doing well. Brian, good morning. Mokisa Emma, the Vista VVTI is what fuel consumption? The Vista VVTI is 1.8 cc. Is hell reliable, this analogy? JK, hell is very reliable. Which have you ever had people say that hell the fire will go out? The fire will burn you for the rest of your soul living life. Like they keep telling us even in church that that in hell there is everlasting fire. The fire in hell will not stop. It will burn you. Your skin will go off. Your meat will go off. The bones will, but you know you will keep feeling the heat. And like there are people that keep putting more firewood in the fire in hell. Hell is reliable. Of course, people don't guarantee heaven, but they guarantee hell. Trust me, even if you went to a church, they guarantee hell more than they guarantee heaven. So hell is reliable. Good morning, Morgan. We are told to have emergency funds and emergency fund and 6 months of living expenses saved. I haven't done it though, because in my circumstances don't find sense in that school. So in Uganda it would make sense to have 6 months of living expenses. Now I personally think it would go down if you have your own home, because living expenses include rent, they include fuel, they include food, they include medical, okay, and a bunch of other things that you have as daily expenses. But if you have your own home, then you can take rent off among the living expenses. Then you keep fuel, because fuel needs to keep you ogendo yidibe. But the analogy in Uganda might actually be true, JK, because in Uganda things are very unreliable. JK, having an emergency fund is a good thing. It gives you peace of mind. Follow Dave Ramsey. Yeah, it gives you peace of mind. But JK says, you know what, JK has an insurance plan for his job that if he gets out of a job, they will pay him over for a year. JK, is it a year? They would pay him his salary for a year. That's the insurance plan he has. So ideally, that's his emergency fund. So and I think I call it another thing, but that's why I'm telling you, Gideon, it doesn't make sense for me to buy a car at 20 million when all I have is 25. Okujjako ngegenda kuba ekola sente nga olugigula bwo kitandikira okukola. If you are buying a chigege and it's going to start giving you 80k a day. So JK is saying, Gideon, his insurance plan will pay him his salary for 2 years. So that's his emergency plan. He has more than actually 6 months. So for him, it doesn't really make sense. He files and they start giving him his salary for 2 years. And by 2 years, surely, with these credentials, he would have figured something out. I bought a Starlet at 4.6 million in 2014, drove it for a full year with no issues, then sold it to a friend at 5 million when he got a Raum Super from the bond. Just within a month, the engine hit and had to change it. Olaba Gideon, you see Gaetano's experience. Experience is totally different. Someone buys a Starlet at 4.6 and drives it for a year, sells it at 5. Another person buys a car from the bond, drives it, and a month the engine is blown. So people have different experiences. Good morning, Arthur. Please update me on the market price of the dumper truck, 3 ton. That I have to ask. I haven't helped anyone buy a lorry. I'm going to probably get back to you on that tomorrow. So I got a information that that will probably misguide you. I want to give you information that that is quite verifiable, or that is in a close range. Yeah. He regretted upgrading because the Starlet was taken at a giveaway price to get a Raum. Good morning, Central Forex. I didn't know the word reliable had a negative connotation. Yeah, but it can be reliably negative. Negative reliability. Like, let me give you an example. The Ugandan government is too reliable on roads. We know they create a road and in like 6 months the potholes will be there. We know they are reliable for that. And reliability is positive either way. We know, so we are prepared negatively. Our minds are prepared for whatever comes. JK's words remind me of Honorable Mukisambide. JK, I know the Zungu Abangereza. 4 months now, with my used Spacio, haven't had any issues. Yet, if you have the right guidance and information, yes, if you have the right guidance and information, you can get a good used car. Thank you very much, Michael. So, and you guys, we are young people. Tulibana bato. Tulibavubuka kale, let me say. Sijagamba tulibana bato. Tulibavubuka. I will tell you that I know guys that make way a lot of money. Nga guy inzo bakola million nga lusanvu omwaka. Okitegeera. Ate ngo lusanvu asobola okulukola nga ndoza amaze okusasula abantu. Of course, these are guys that know how to work away the tax money. Okitegeera. And omwaka. Okitegeera ne baba akola million 3 omwaka nga teziriko abanja nga avuga fielder. Okitegeera. Because 500 million a year is about almost like 40 something million or 30 something million every month. And this is money they don't make every month, but they make in lump sums. And then Gavuga feel that you have a million and he's contented, and he's a big man, and he has a home, he has rentals. He's satisfied. Now, I think I've been exposed to these kinds of men that for a very long time, that my decision making is kind of getting influenced. They are too Ugandan. They know that life can be unpredictable at any time. So instead of buying an expensive car, would rather buy an expensive plot of land in an expensive neighborhood, because he knows the plot of land, even tomorrow, if you want your money tomorrow, people will come and give you, and they'll probably be fighting to give you money. But a moral cousin ozidi disappointing. Oh, that's probably something that if you haven't been disappointed by a specific like Gideon hasn't been disappointed by a new car, his experience is unique. But there are people that have been disappointed. I've seen someone, the engineer and they sell it at a giveaway price. They put a new engine at a bay. So, but these experiences are definitely unique. So Gideon, I can't say your thought process is wrong. It's definitely true, and if it were like that, we would all sell our bodies, because you can fall sick at any moment, and at any moment you can require 10 million to work on your body. So have you given away your body to get a new one? Definitely not. And because of how one of the reasons why you don't want to finish all the money trying to buy a car that you think will be reliable is because in Uganda nothing is reliable. You can go to a hospital to treat malaria and you come back with liver failure, and now you have to treat your liver, and then like the biggest asset you have that you can sell quickly would be that car, and then when you sell it, cannot treat your liver because your liver is going to be gone. I would actually recommend you guys, by the way, we are not a country that is used to insurance, but I would greatly encourage you guys to go the way of insurance. Insurance will give you some kind of peace of mind. If you have kids, get plans like a school fees plan, like the one that Prudential has. I have it for my 2 kids. And then if you can, go get some life insurance form of insurance, or get an investment plan. I think UAP has something of that sort where you keep your money there and they give you profit. And this works especially for guys that like you don't have ideas for your money, but you have money lying down there. You can invest in such things. And then if you have a family and you can afford to buy medical insurance for them, and of course if you are in an area where accessing the hospitals that have the insurance plans or that have insurance companies with them are accessible, then definitely buy insurance for your family. Buy insurance for your family. But if you live in estates like mine, like the clinic in my neighborhood is going to get the Jubilee, and when they get Jubilee, I'll definitely buy insurance, Jubilee insurance for my family, because it's, in a way, it makes sense. But katife wafe, for you to access a hospital that has insurance, you'll have to drive fuel of 30,000. Nenga ate 30,000 ogatake etwale ebidi and you get medication in the clinic in my neighborhood, and our doctor is very efficient. So in a way, I'm waiting for her to bring Jubilee. She said she's bringing Jubilee, I think, by the end of the year. So then I can buy Jubilee insurance for my family. But in a way, we are not an insurance culture, but we need to buy those things. Biyambako we masasula a million in Gabidi Nechitundu for 4 people in my family, and we can go to the hospital for anything at any time. I find that would be an okay deal. Because sometimes as Ugandans in Songarwachi, sometimes people die abruptly, or why they actually get diagnosed with cancer when it's stage 4 is because they cannot even afford the checkups. Or they can afford, but they keep saying and they end up not going for the checkups that everybody should ideally go for, you get. And then by the time they find out you have that illness that will take your life, it's already too late. So that's why I would highly recommend that you go get insurance if you can afford it, instead of actually investing money in things that, because I love cars. I think muyinza okubanga tewali ayagala motoka kunsinga, but I learned a little bit earlier in my life that a car is not, yes, we love cars, but a car might not actually be like the best thing to ever happen to you. People have driven cars, and even after driving those cars, there were other things that were much more valuable in their life. Let me see. Because we are all sinners, we all go to hell. Apart from Emma, Arthur, I think you need to make a broadcast for specifically educating us about insurance. I think I'm going to do your insurance. I'll have to invite someone, and they'll have to give me influencer money. Let me talk to someone today, because insurance is a good thing. I have, for example, I have a prudential plan. I don't save a lot of money. Why? Because like all Ugandans, we are all skeptical about insurance, right? So I put like a 200k aside every month, and that's the prudential. I have other plans, but I'll tell you the prudential because Katinga Emma, you have your daughter, and other people that have kids here. The prudential, they give you, I think, more than 60%. Depending on when you're saving. I put there for 9 years because I didn't want to put for a long period of time, because insurance is something that is new to us. These other plans are shorter, have shorter periods that I have. They have a shorter period than the other one. The other one is 9 years, and it's for both my kids. And by the end of the 9 years, I would have saved like 20 something million, but they'll give me 40 something million. Which I think I will have saved like 20 something million in total. They'll give me about 42 million. Now, I find that the 200,000 I put there is negligible. It's money that you can spend by knocking that double cabin bumper. Also, it's money that you can eat in one day. So if I save it a month, that's little money. And I have people that have more kids than me. Are you sure that spending in a day? Money they can definitely spend that 100,000 in a day. But why don't you put it aside for your kids? And you know how the prudential that I have for my kids works? That if I got permanent disability, I think they'll give me some lump sum in the beginning, and then they give me the rest later on in life. There is a way it works. Yeah. After insurance is complex in Uganda, it does not necessarily work the way it's meant to work. It's riddled with a lot of legal issues. No, I totally understand, Patrick, but there are some plans that will definitely work for you as long as you adhere to their because as long as you get that insurance plan document and read it and understand how it works, and then continue, because for example, comprehensive insurance covers you. But if you were drunk, it might refuse to cover you. Third party insurance covers, but the way it covers, that's something that we have never been given awareness about. But I'm thinking we don't get awareness because there's a big godfather of insurance that eats all that money. But a motorcar is like kids. The day you get it, you'll never know where you get money to take care of it. Me, I know where I get money to take care of the car. I know where I get money to take care of my kids. That's why I'm not having more kids. Because I see the world that is not going to get too big. When you understand that the world where you get money is not going to get bigger, that's when you start being careful about how you spend your money. Because one time you have 100 million, and the moment you realize that you will not be having 100 million every year, constantly, that's when you stop spending like you're going to be having. I can never buy insurance in Uganda. Thanks, Council Patrick. Me, I will buy insurance as long as because the problem with us as Ugandans is that we don't want to read. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. we don't want to read. And I know there are some people here that have gotten bank loans. When was it that you read that bank document that they give you? I think it's about 25 pages of terms and conditions. Have you read it? Or you just sign? So that's exactly what happens to Ugandans. They don't read. Omuntu agula insurance and it has a lot of thank you, Marvin. Banange Mompe likes. You're 27 people. We should be able to get 27 likes. You like the broadcast. So what I'm saying is that you guys, you get a document and you never read it. And also you need to keep engaging the agent that sold you that insurance. Keep probing, ask questions that will put you in the know. A friend had comprehensive insurance for his lorry, but when it was involved in an accident, it was a hassle to get compensated, and he had to bribe to get what he was rightly owned. Eventually, he was compensated. JK, I think how insurance works in Uganda, you need to get it through an agent. If you buy insurance, you walk into an insurance company and buy comprehensive insurance, it will be a hassle to get money. If you buy insurance through an agent, it will be his goal or her goal to make sure that you get compensated, because they know next year you will renew through them, and they know you'll get them more people, because agents make money through commission. I don't know if I make sense. All the people that I know that have comprehensive insurance and have been paid, they buy insurance through agents. You don't just walk into an insurance company and you buy insurance through brokers. I don't know if I make sense, JK. In Uganda, things are not as straight as we think they should be. You need to buy insurance through a broker, and ideally you should buy insurance through a broker that has been used by someone you know, because then they can attest to their reliability. I don't know if I make sense. People that you can trust. You don't just walk into an office of someone and then you decide that, oh, let me go buy insurance. That's not how it works. And I've been told this so many times by people I know. If you're going to buy comprehensive insurance, use a broker or use an agent, because that agent will make sure you get compensated when you need to be compensated. And that's strictly how it works. But I think, JK, your friend had to bribe because he did not have a broker or an agent to make sure that things go in the right direction. And that's Uganda. You don't read, but what if they tell you to pay the loan after 2 hours? But most Ugandans don't read. What has Adrian? Most Ugandans don't read. I'll give you the very slight example. People get loans, but of 100 people, I think you will find that one person has read the terms and conditions given to him in that document that they sign. The same thing happens with insurance. People don't understand the terms and conditions. For example, I'll give you an example with the Prudential EduSave, that education thing. In 3 years, if you miss paying for 3 years, for about 6 months in the first 3 years of your policy is negligible. It's negligible. But after 3 years, you can miss for a year and pay money in the lump sum, and they'll pay you. So someone will miss paying, and then they'll blame the insurance company for the terms and conditions that they themselves did not understand. Yeah, through a sales guy, because the sales guy can be fired anytime. Insurance only pays big companies. No, I've seen people paid their money. And they get it because insurance has the money. Insurance uses your money to make money, so they have your money. So they will pay you if you adhere to their terms. Of course, their terms and conditions are made to make sure that they don't pay you. That's how it works. My secondary teacher gave us a test. He gave us 5 minutes to answer. You guys, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Our challenge, majority of us as Ugandans, our challenge is that we don't like to read. You want someone to help you get a loan and also read the terms and conditions to make sure that they serve you. That's something nobody will ever do for you. You have to take responsibility. You have to take responsibility. Anyway, for me, I made sure that I did my numbers basically. If at the end of the 9 years they just give me my 20 million that I've saved with them, it's okay. But if they gave me the Kafote Ma, which I would fight to make sure I get because I've saved that money and the legal document says I'm going to get that money, which take it, I would fight and I would get my money. Which take it. But even if they gave you the money you have saved alone, which take it, like at the end of 9 years, with your saving habits, you have to, at the end of 9 years, will you have 20 million saved up? Go savings and saving, and that's the thing you have to ask yourself. Like if I put that 100,000, 200,000 away, I forget about it. I just make sure it goes. He gave us a 5 minutes to answer 10 questions. At the end, there was don't answer any questions. And you guys had answered the questions. Ugandans we are just not readers. People got sticks. My girlfriend makes posters for her trips with all the necessary info highlighted, and people still ask how much is the trip. Yeah, this is something that I've seen most Ugandans do, and it's too reckless. You post an ad and it has the prices, and then someone calls. But I thought, like, the price, if the price is that important to you, we should have looked for it in the ads. And people still don't read. Reading seems to be punishable in African perspective. A lot. And because I read a lot, that's how I went back to school, because I read all the marketing there is, and I felt I still missed something. And trust me, when I went to school to study marketing, I got what I was looking for. But you sometimes need legal advice to understand the implications of the fine paying. Legal documents yourself, you definitely understand them. And I know the worst case scenario, because all these insurance companies, in the worst case scenario, they just give you back your money. They don't give you the profit. And the worst case scenario seems good to me. You're right, Arthur, that that insurance is good. Instead of using written, you rather use public address system. It's more efficient in Africa. Arthur, talk about also car insurance too. But the car insurance is basic. Third-party insurance doesn't help you as a vehicle owner. It's supposed to help the other people that you probably get into accident with. Let's say I knock this border guy in front of me. Third-party insurance works for him and his border. But do you know why third-party insurance doesn't work? Is that if I knock this border guy in front of me, I would have done reckless driving. And under the law, reckless driving is punishable. 9 years. You can go to jail for 9 years. You can even pay a fine of up to 2 million. I don't know if I make sense. So if they are going to lock me up for a year, and this border guy that I've knocked is asking for 20,000, I just pay him. And that's how you people keep saying that third-party insurance doesn't work. But it works. Nobody has nobody has made sure that they make it work. Also, the process of making third-party insurance work is long. That if I knocked that border guy, okay, if I knocked that border guy today, and he wanted to claim third-party insurance, he would actually have to go to police and buy a police report, which might cost him like 50K, and then go to the insurance company, which will ask a bunch of questions. Did you have a permit? Did you have third party? Was your motorcycle in good condition? And all that. And most of these border guys, they literally don't have they don't have all those, what do we call? They don't have all those, they don't have all the requirements to be on the road. So the border guy will talk with the policeman, but even you, when you think about it, the time you're going to waste they take you to jail, apply for police bond, your car has to be parked at the police, then you'll go to court, and then the judge will penalize you, pay 900,000 to court, and then get locked up. And then all that, then you say, let me just pay this border guy. You get. So that's why third-party insurance doesn't work. Which again, the same thing will happen with the comprehensive insurance. You'll buy comprehensive insurance, and then the process to claim will basically cost you more than if you just repaired your car yourself. You get. So that's why people don't buy comprehensive insurance, and that's why you find that it's only companies that buy comprehensive insurance, because for them they have like 5 cars. So if one car gets involved in an accident, they can use the other 4 cars as they claim for this one car. You get. So that's why someone has said up there that insurance companies only pay big companies. It's because big companies can afford to wait. The thing in Uganda is, and Africa I think, is that for us, even to be called to papa, it's until you realize that, oh, I made the wrong decision, that you start panicking. But if you could be patient, insurance companies actually pay. Like the third-party insurance doesn't even have like terms and conditions for the person that is affected. As long as the police report says that that person was not in fault, that the person whose insurance company is supposed to pay was at fault, third-party insurance is supposed to pay you. But also you need to understand that third-party insurance has a quota. They don't pay like the person pay 50k. So they're definitely going to give you like a 400,000 at most. And then 400,000, you use 50,000 to buy a police report. Then you have used transport to go back and forth. Probably sometimes they even told you go get a lawyer's letter. You've paid the lawyer 100,000, and then they give you 300,000. Cut on top of transport, you just negotiate on the road, get some money and go. It makes much more sense. So that's why third party doesn't work, and that's why comprehensive is literally useless. For a country where, like Arthur, I need my car every day, and then you tell me come and park it for a week, and then we pay you. It would work for me if I had like 2 or 3 cars. Then I put comprehensive on all of them, and then I literally just know that if this one gets involved in an accident, I'll leave it at police, and then I claim from the insurance. And then whenever they pay me, they pay me. I had a friend of mine who had comprehensive insurance. He had a Subaru, and a taxi guy knocked it, and he told the insurance company clearly, but he had bought the insurance through a broker. So the broker said, okay, what are you gonna pay? But they're not going to give you the total amount of your car. They'll give you 80%, and he accepted. Never be go back. It took like 4 months to get his money, but he got his money. The insurance company took the other old car, and it took him another like 2 months to get a new car because he imported it. And just like that, he was driving a newer car than the one he had. Of course, he topped up money, which some Ugandans will not have. So that's why motor insurance doesn't really is not really beneficial to most of us. What if a border knocks you instead? If a border knocks you instead and you have comprehensive, then you still will claim. You still have to get a police report even when you have comprehensive insurance. Get a police report, file it with your broker or your agent, and then the agent will claim on your behalf, and then they'll give you the money because you have comprehensive. But if you have third party and the border guy knocks you, if he has third party insurance, you can let him go musibe, which we all know will not happen because ajagenda sasura police bamute bagambe twamutadde ku bond, and the bond is illegal. You cannot protest bond. They'll tell you twamutadde ku bond, they'll let him go on bond, for example, and he'll keep reporting until you give up. But if most border guys have third party insurance, so if the border guy knocks you, you just go repair your car if he runs away, or you mark it and wait for them to lock him up, and if they lock him up, he's not under the law. As long as you can take the legal repercussions, as long as you're okay going to court and paying, or as long as you're okay going to court and getting jailed for a couple of months on foot, and you killed them, okay? Even if you knocked someone on foot and killed them, you are not obligated to pay them. Just except to go to jail. Your car, even when the police takes your car, they will not use the car to pay those people. No. They will basically keep the car, take it to IOV, have it auctioned. Now, you knock someone, legally you'll be arrested. Now, these people just have to go and take, maybe if the judge is lenient and they give them some money. That's the little knowledge I know. But if you knock someone, you're not obligated to pay them. As long as you can take the legal repercussions, and you're good to go. Yeah. So that's the little I know about insurance. What if then you are in wrong if the border knocks you? Ideally under the unwritten laws of Uganda, if a border guy knocks you, you're in wrong. Yeah. So I think that's how it works. But guys, I would like to tell you guys that insurance, especially if you buy through brokers, would be one of your savers. I don't know if you saw this Mr. Semakula song. There's a Mr. Semakula song. This has very good message. And in this song, the video, the guy was importing things over from where he had a full like container and it got lost at sea. But it was insured. And for a number of months, this guy suffered, went back to the village and all that. And then all of a sudden, insurance paid him and he came back to his feet. He got back on his feet. So I think I've learned the hard way that sometimes insurance pays. Just imagine that you have been saving, for example, in an insurance plan for 10 years, for a period of 10 years, and in about year 8, things start going wrong for you. And they really go wrong by year 9. And you have been paying, you pay diligently this insurance company, and in year 10 when they're supposed to pay you, they pay you. And normally when you're paying for insurance, I would not recommend that you give them a lot of money. Give them the amount. That's why I pay 200,000, because so that if you're in a monthly payment plan, even in the worst case scenario, you can actually still make the payments, so that you can get your payout at the end. So and no, give the very minimum that you can give, so that in the end, if things go wrong, you can continue paying and then you get your payout. To me, insurance cost invested far will exceed the indemnity benefits obtained, and I have always been uncomfortable with it. I think, Patrick, it depends on what. If it's medical insurance and you're paying 4 million and you have a healthy family, then the costs might be high. But if you're paying 4 million annually and you have done the math and you spend more than that, then the insurance would definitely work for you. So you just have to do the numbers and see. Like, for example, for the education insurance plan that I have, I don't find that I'm losing anything. Why am I saying that? You can have 200,000 in your pocket and you walk from here going to my office and the money falls. For me, I've seen it that way, that okay, I've lost the 200,000. And for me, it makes perfect sense that at the end of 9 years, if they give me 42 million and I gave them 20 million, who lost? Who gained? Of course, they gained because they used my money to make more money, and then they just gave me my money. And if they pay me after the 9 years, if they pay me money, trust me, I will double what I've been saving. I'll probably start saving 500K every month. Probably I'll even have 1 million every month. I'll put it there for 5 years, because I know they actually pay. But I've seen people that have been paid. I'd rather fix my money and borrow against my fixed amount in case of an emergency. And JK, fix your money. Fixed money is still accessible. And it doesn't mean that if you have insurance plan, don't have fixed money. It doesn't kill for you to have multiple places where you put your money. Fix this money, but also if you can afford the insurance, why not? Because me, I find that fixed money is still accessible to me. They charge me a little extra when I withdraw the money, but I can still withdraw my money. And just like the fixed deposit account will charge you extra for it, some money to withdraw your money. The same thing happens with insurance if you try to get out of the agreement soon. You can fix money and get 8% interest and can borrow against it 11% at an effective cost of 3% per annum. Now, JK, you remember what I told you that Bank of India can be an alternative bank that I just put more money that I don't need? No problem. I can still fix that money there and still get money. What I'm trying to do is trying to show you an alternative. But like JK, you don't need insurance. You guys are going to pay you for 2 years your salary and you're not working. There is always a non-disclosure clause in those standard form insurance contracts, and it always ends in courts of law for interpretation. I've seen people being paid. I've seen people being paid. Now, for us in Uganda, bad news travels faster than good news. When someone gets paid their insurance money, they're not going to tell anyone because Mogenda Mosabiliza. So the good news will not travel. But when the moment they don't get paid, the bad news will travel. I will tell you that people that have bought good cars from me, they don't come back here to say, I think it's only Brian that came to say he got a good car. All the other guys, they don't even pick my calls when I call. But should something go wrong, should something go wrong with someone's car, a majority of the people will come here and say, yanguze moro KMB, even if it's their fault. Yanguze moro KMB. So bad news, I think bad news travels faster than good news, and we are constantly looking for the bad. We are constantly looking for the bad in everything. That's why when we talk about bond cars, Arthur will keep telling you there is always a negative side to buying a bond car. And when we are talking about used cars, Ugandan used cars, there is always someone that is trying to tell you there is something wrong with buying Ugandan used cars. So as Ugandans or Africans, we are constantly looking at what is wrong with that. What could go wrong? We are constantly looking for that. And in a way, I cannot tell you that it's a wrong thing. It's good to be skeptical. But the leap of faith is good. For me, they don't have to. If they don't give me the 42 million, it's okay. Let them give me like a 20 million. And actually, if I go to the courts of law and I battle it out and they give me 35 million, it's okay. At least that will be a learning lesson. And trust me, people don't want to mess with someone like me. I'd make life a living hell for that insurance company. I would cost them more than the than court. JK, yes, we are risk averse. Kati omuntu alaba okuwayo emitwalo ga 200. That's about 2.4 every year for 9 years. For someone to give 2.4 every year for 9 years, that's a lot of money, 20 million. Nayenga ate, people lose 20 million like periodically. Like we were talking with Nicholas and he said he invested 10 million in a certain business and the business did not even last a year. 10 million gone in a year. But I'm going to keep 20 million with an insurance company and there are chances they will pay me. You get? There are chances they will pay me. And you know these insurance companies, they have these claims and then later they give me. Should I die? Even when I've saved what I've saved so far. Should I die now? They'll start paying my kids school fees. That's basically how it works with the education insurance plans. But I'm not saying that you go and save with them. Most of the insurance companies find a way not to pay. Most of them, that's why I think, JK, that's why every insurance company has a package that they are specialized, that they are known for. JK is saying he lost over 30 million in just a year in 2021. You can imagine. And me, I'm going to save 20 million in a period of 9 years. And Patrick, I've realized that every insurance company is known for something. You'll find that Jubilee is known for something. You'll find that UAP is known for something. You'll find that every insurance company is known for something because that particular thing they pay. So if you go to that insurance company for a product they are not known for, they probably don't even make money out of it. They'll find a way to not pay you. For example, I will tell you, you see how we discuss about cars and they say brokers are not good people. They're actually not bad people. A broker makes money only when you buy. So they'll make sure you get something to buy. That's why I tell you that Arthur is not a broker. Just give me my 400k and get a good car. If I fix 2.4 every year for 9 years, trust me, you'll reap much more than what the insurance company will pay you. Brian, let me ask you, can you fix 2.4? This question goes out to all of you guys. If you have a fixed deposit account and that money is accessible. If you get a problem, you can get your money. Can you really fix 2.4 for 9 years? Ngatuze mazima. Because me, I am honest with myself. Like right now, I have a project that requires me to use 20 to get about 20 million and invest in it. Ngongama have invested 5 million ngasizi jayo. Can you fix 2.4? You get an emergency and you don't get it, Brian. You fix 2.4 every year, 2.4 every year, and then your car, the engine blows. Can you tell me that you will not get that money out of their bank when it's accessible? Fixed deposit has a time frame in which you can't access it. You can borrow. No, that's your bank, JK. All the other banks, you can get your money. They will charge you to get the money. They'll charge you some money, and it's uncomfortable, but you can get your money at any time. Most of the banks have gone to. And that's why I did not fix my money. Because personally, if I can access my money, I will access it. Nzendi hustler. Nzetamainza kumpitira chimotoka. Nimangamba after someone has a RAV4, he has a problem, 4 million. And I have 4 million on a fixed deposit account and I don't get my 4 million. You get it? But me, with that insurance plan, the money is not accessible at all. Until the actual payout in 9 years. So that's why I'm putting that money there. I have these accounts where, but all those accounts I know, I can go and get my money anytime and put it to use. I'm a hustler. Ebi abantu bikolera nnyo ku bantu ba corporate. Okitegeera ngate ne sente zofuna zisinga bye weetaaga. Kati me I'm a hustler. I can't have 5 million lying around and I get a deal of 5 million and you tell me, "Boy, you fixed it, Simanya, I get 80% a year." And there are chances that you can get that money from a fixed deposit account and the money dies. The day I decide to buy a car from a bond, I'll fix an entire amount and buy with a loan against it. But that's if you have an entire amount, JK, you get it. But Ugandans and the way we are made, it's very rare to find a Ugandan that has that big amount. That's why you find that most people that buy cars from the bond, when it comes to time to sell it, and they really need to sell, they sell at a loss. And a guy will buy a car at 40 million, and when they get an issue and they need to sell it like in a week, a car you bought at 40, you'll sell it at 26. Because it's very hard to find someone that has 40 million lying there and they cannot go and get the same car in the bond, and they come and buy it from you. So obviously, it makes more sense for me than spending the money at once. Definitely JK. Good morning Adams. I don't know if you guys, it makes sense that the reason you would want to fix to buy an insurance plan like that is because the money in the bank can be accessed anytime. They will charge you. Of course, the bank, bobo inayo like 10 million, they will say, Munange, your money is fixed to get it. We'll charge you 500,000. But at that moment, nothing. Of course, you have lost money even then. But at that moment, you don't see it. So me, I decide that I'll always put some money away that I cannot access no matter what. So I put it there. So I'll access it at the end of 9 years. And then at 9 years, if they pay me properly, I'll double the money I've been insuring, that I've been depositing every month, and still I'll start over again. And now I'll save for like 10 or 15 because I know they pay. And one thing you guys need to understand, that these guys did not pay in the past. The insurance companies did not pay because our parents were ignorant of the noise they can make. But today, an insurance company there is she had a pro-edusave, and she did not. She was bari bamusasura sentence. She came and made noise on Facebook. They called her the next day. They paid her entire amount. These days, you don't even need to go to court. Make noise. The noise damages the brand more than even a court case. A friend of mine fixed 250 million for 2 years in Crane Bank, and he was getting 11% interest per annum. I know, but how many people, JK, have even 30 million cash? Even the rich people we know as rich, some of them don't even have 30 million in cash. Most Ugandans have money in assets. I have an uncle of mine. He has a lot of land on the main road. He's asset rich. He's cash poor. So many Ugandans are asset rich and cash poor. So for you to find someone that has 100 million in cash, aba mugagga nnyo. To the extent that now abeera on a million chikumi azitereka asobole okubaako anyigiriza. Normally that's how it happens. People that keep cash, a lot of cash, they are waiting to buy people but with them. Normally that's the reason why they keep money. He's a captain in a British army. He was posted in Germany for 3 years where he didn't buy even a kilo of sugar and said, but in Uganda, how many people actually have even 50 million in cash? How many? How many? Nti Uganda no mugago guturaba. You get, even the rich people in Uganda, they lock them up for a year, they come back broke. So what kind of wealth did this person have? So personally, that's something that you guys would have to think about. You don't have to do it. I'm not an agent. I'm not an influencer. That's why I've told you that for me to interview an insurance company on my show, they'll actually have to give me money. That's one of the reasons I'm going to fast track creating the podcast studio, because in the podcast studio then I can host people on the channel and then they can tell you whatever they want and they can pay me some money, so that I can make some money out of that, because I know that there are people that are now going to consider buying insurance because I've talked about it. But I'm not going to tell you where to buy it or from whom to buy it because I've not been paid for adverts. So anyway, our title was the Spacio. I told you the story, and with the experience I got with the Spacio when we were buying it for Nicholas, I don't want to go back through that experience. And this is what I'm going to tell you. When you're going to buy a car and you have brokers that can give you good cars, don't come to Arthur. Arthur is not a broker. I want to make this specifically clear. I'm not a broker. Right now, I'm parked in a parking. I'm going to my office to do my work. And I have a lot of work. This thing that I do it out of passion. Because nobody was there to help me. Mechanics ripped me off. Brokers ripped me off. Watch together. Chris Da Vinci is saying, I was also using Prudential and I was saving 150k per month for 5 years, but I received that money last year and it helped a lot. People, tuleke kubeera so skeptical. Chris Da Vinci atubulidde wuuyo. Okitegeera. And Chris Da Vinci, I'm thinking the reason you saved that money there is because it was inaccessible. It helped you. So back to my point. I had an experience that was unpleasant when we were getting a car for Nicholas. On the very first day, of course, Nicholas had a budget. We saw cars in his budget and cars that were out of his budget. And I advised Nicholas that if you want to buy a car in your budget, like I tell you, I'm too honest. I'm like an open book. You see the things I tell you here on the channel. These are the very things I tell people when they sit in my car, because I know not everybody. I told him, with your budget, if you want to buy a car that won't disturb you, a car that will be in very good condition, let's buy a Mark II Musota. It's VVTi, it's 2.0, but it's VVTi, it won't consume a lot of your fuel. Naga, but I don't want the Mark II. Ideally, he wanted the fan cargo. But the fan cargo in his budget was not possible. And I gave him all the options on day one, and we did not come up with the car to buy. And I told him, you know what? Your money covers 2 days, so I'll give you a chance. Come back next week. Let's get a day next week, and you come back. If you have options, we can go look at them. And then you come back. But I told him specifically, I don't think I'm going to have any other options next week. The options we have looked at are the options that are going to be available next week. Because in this car business, I've seen. So now I know that in a week, it's very hard for you to find a difference. And then my mechanic was telling him, and I told him, do you really think that if my mechanic gets a car that is a bargain, he will call you first before, if he has the money? And you really think, do you think anyone would actually be there now? Hey, Nicholas, there is a good deal here. Come and buy a car. Come, ya begging. Do you really think that someone will actually be there? Because that's what brokers get. It's impossible. But I told you, you know what? Go think about it. But ideally, with his budget, the Mark II would have done a very good deal. In very good condition. But I told him, when you come back. He went. So the day comes when we are supposed to meet again, and he had the broker friends that he called. I told me, you know what, they are fan cargos. They have told me, let's go look at them. The first fan cargo we looked at nga nvundu. Nga mbutufu boleko omuntu agigula oba onyize bunyizi n'ogamba omanyi ono gayi antawanyiza kaakigula agenda abone. First of all, it had a bad engine, the body was bad, the interior was bad. And they were selling it at 9 million, way beyond our budget of 8.5. And we had gotten cars at 9 million that were way better. And because they were out of our budget, we did not buy. So, now, and trouble when you come to buy a car with me. So, on that day, we saw the first fan cargo, it was bad. He liked it because he wanted the fan cargo. But I told him, so he called the broker again. We went to, I think, Nakawa. The broker had a Vista. The Vista had the engine that I don't recommend you buy, the 3S Vista, the 3S engine. And I told him those the very things that I told him. So this broker said, what do a Moroka fan cargo erima tuga? And I asked the broker, because it had very nice pictures on WhatsApp, and I asked the broker, how much is this fan cargo? And he said, who in the world has a thing that is valuable and they don't know how much they want to sell it? And it's in Matuga. And he said, the broker said, and I told him, come on guys, let's be realistic. Yeah, which person has a car in good condition and they even want to put fuel in Uganda and they don't even want to tell you how much the car will cost you? And I told them, you know what, me, I'm not driving my car to Matuga. Because definitely either that fan cargo is bad and it can't move, because if really this person needs money and they are selling it cheaply because they need money, brokers can buy that car from Matuga in a heartbeat. And I told him I want to go. And the broker called the broker on the other end when we were hearing on loudspeaker. And then the other broker said, you know what? I don't know. This person has driven the car for a long time. Honestly, I really don't know how the car looks like now. And I told him, now that's what you want to take us to. You may even get there and the engine is blown. And we have driven fuel. Now, we drove. And along the way, this broker got out of the car and we went to see the Spacio that we bought eventually. So we went and found the Spacio brokers had bought the Spacio and they had it. And for them, I think they were saying over 9.5 again. But the Spacio was, as you saw it, if you haven't seen the Spacio, go to the community tabs. And the Spacio was there. Initially, it wasn't really good. And later on, we realized it's the environment where we saw the Spacio that made it not to be so good. So we saw this Spacio. And this guy said 9.3 because they are brokers and all. So we drove away because this broker told us he had a fan cargo in town. So what they did, this fan cargo was with brokers in Nakasero. So what they did, to dupe us, they drove the fan cargo to the UTL parking. You know the UTL parking there in Nakasero, that big parking where UTL staff park. So they drove there to dupe us, to make us think that, oh, like a staff for UTL. So we drove and went to the UTL parking lot. On looking at the fan cargo, it had accident, just like the fan cargo we saw in the morning. The engine was bad. So what these guys do, engine from Chiseka market, engine and then they make you believe they bought a new engine and replaced. You get it? Engine in full. The interior was bad, and I told my friend here, you know what? I'm not going to sign on that agreement. He liked the car because I think he was inclined to buy a fan cargo. He really wanted it. I told him, you know what? You're throwing money, and these guys were also saying 9 million. I told him, you know what? The mechanic was seriously telling him the engine is bad. And for me, I wasn't even about the engine. You know, when I'm helping you buy a car, I look at what you want to use the car for, okay? And I say at looking at the interior and the kind of clients that Nicholas musajja wabuvunanyizibwa. Okitegere yandibanga talina sente nyingi nnyo naye muntu wabuvunanyizibwa n'emirimu gy'akola n'abantu babeeramu babuvunanyizibwa. Okitegera. So I looked at the car interior. And I told him, Nicholas, look at the kind of clients you work with. Kati client wonga jatula mu motoka eyo. Okitegera. Ngiragamba Nicholas ansabye million 12 okunkolera project nga atula mu ye motoka nga azikuwa. You get what I'm saying? And I told him, you know what, Nicholas, me I'm not broker nagamba nedda naye kati kwezo sende mugenda kuja wa fan cargo. And I told Nicholas, ojukira kye nagamba last week. nakugamba ku sente zo tetusobola afuna fan kage yimiridde. Then the broker say, hey, naite kisoboka tusobola afuna moroka nungi. And then this broker is apparently a friend to Nico mukwano gwe. A broker has no friend. I've been telling you this. Kati ono broker yabada agala tuvuza ne moroka atutwale ematugga. Naye nga akimanyi ku sente zaffe ze tulina tetusobola afuna moroka nungi nga twala tulaga bimoroka bivundu. And then the broker said, Naira, kusende say, tasola funa moroka eyo, bichi. And I told Nico, now katulacha atumalira obudde ono. Okitegera. And I told him, with the kind of work you do, to get the visitor we had seen the other time, Nabagambi 9.5 gaine papula bya mitwalo nkaga. That's literally the one car that I would recommend, looking at what Nicholas wanted. And now, because I've been with him for 2 days, I realize the kind of caliber of clients he has. Nti client wajanga avuga email. Na agamba, let's not take my email. Let's go in your car. Ngoleta akamotoka akavundu. You get it? So, I had that the kind of person he was. So, but I knew the Spacio. I knew the visitor. So, and I told him, Nicholas, if it were Arthur, I would buy the Spacio. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The visitor is 9.5 in almost perfect condition. No work to be done. New tires, radio, it has alarm, everything. Buy and drive. The Spacio has some minor work to be done. Now, this is where the math applies. The Spacio, we bargained up to 9 million. And we told that guy, you pay your own brokers, but we're giving you 9 million and we go. Okay? This one is 9.5. You have to pay police receipts of 600,000. But we did not have the 9.5 cash. It means we are paying 9 million. We have a debt of 500, yet we still have to pay police receipts. So I told him, if it were up to me, I'd buy the Spacio. Why? One, the Spacio, yes, it's an old model, but that Spacio, say you're selling and people will run to buy. The visitor, people will not run to buy. Yes, people will come and buy eventually, but people will not run to buy. And the visitor is more expensive. Two, the Spacio wasn't so bad. It doesn't look so good. But one of the reasons that Spacio doesn't look so good is, one, because the person that had that car was a musubuzi, so he wasn't a clean person. Two, the interior was still intact, by the way, but it needed washing. But the Spacio was in drivable condition. This musubuzi is driving it to go see other cars to buy. So ideally, the Spacio at 9 million, if you had more money, the Spacio would not be a good deal. But if you had only that 9 million to spare, the Spacio was a very good deal. Now we go back to Gideon's case, where Gideon is saying that I don't recommend anyone to buy a car out of the bond. And I'm telling Gideon that it depends on how much money you're having. With the kind of budget we had, the Spacio was a good deal. If this person had like 13 to 14 million, we would not buy a Spacio, the old model. But with the kind of money we had, this Spacio was one of the best deals ever. Actually, Spacio the deal nunji. We bought it like the other day. Yesterday when they went to the garage, someone was buying it 10 million. You get it? Jayaguze 9 million. Someone was buying it 10 million. Let's say he bought it 9.4 because yampa ye mitwala ana. But someone was buying it 10 million. It means he was making a profit of 600,000 in one day. You get what I'm saying? But why I decided that if you come to buy cars with me and you don't have your options, and I show you my options, and afterwards you want to go to brokers, you're paying me an extra 200,000, is because I've told you time and again, brokers are not your friends in Gatotegera. Kati, if I show you my options of cars that I think are good in your price range, and you still say in your price range you can get a better car, ndeka genda. Gendo labe motokazo. Oba si checho. Pay me an extra 200,000 because I've realized in my experience, muba mutumalira budde. And it's not just this car we bought recently. There is another guy, oligwenda bagambe yatulemo guze motoka paka katisema nyoba yali yaguze motoka. After we showed him cars, I showed him even cars at 3.5. That were drivable ngovuga buvuzi. Nazigana zo nambumbi. Na agenda nemugamba omanyi gwonemye. We used 3 days and yajane Brian, I think. We used 3 days and we still did not get a car for him. Nemugamba gwonemye omanyi obokola kwataga ne makanika wange nzigwe sikusobola. Ne makanika wange namulemererwa. We went over to atuka kumotoka ya kumeka, we were selling cars to other people. Then he came again. Brokers have called me for a car. Tuka kumotoka nga bivundu. And not just that one. There are plenty of people that had brokers. Nenga batu maliro obudde. obudde amafuta amaanyi okulowooza okunnyonnyola okitegeera okuzaamu n'okutegeeza omuntu ono nti omanyi you're getting a bad deal with this car okitegeera why would I get to the extent of saying that you guy emotoka gigule nesigenda gisaako mukono because I don't want to be part of that deal. Yeah, I'm washing my hands. You know how just Pilate washed his hands of the death of Jesus. Some of these deals I want to wash my hands of them. Njivemu ngambe na yomanyi gwe sijja kusobola genda sagala ogambe nali naawe ng'ogula okitegeera. And I've said this time and again, I think even Brian with you when you were buying the other very beautiful Mark bana ekiri Mark kyali kirungi. And then I sat down with Brian nemugano yomanyi Brian leero togula moroka eno. If you buy this car today I'm not signing. It was a good car and it was a very good deal because a moroka sawa eno ya milioni 14 with the kind of niceness it had. Nebali bagituguza milioni 9. It was a very good deal. But when I understood who Brian was, because Brian was my boss at that time, I sat him down nemugana yomanyi Brian gula Ipsam. And Brian, do you regret buying the Ipsam? I'm sure he doesn't. I don't know if you get my point. That sometimes when I understand the kind of person you are, then I can understand what is good for you. All the cars that these people had brokers to take them to cars before, all those cars were bad. I'm one person. I do this out of passion. You give me 400,000, I get 150 immediately, and I give it to the mechanic. The second day is something I convince him to do. Nemugambo manyi. Echirungi, when we buy a car, this person might be your client. So he says, okay, tugenda tukola olunaku olwokubiri. Ideally, 400k should cover one day. Actually, it should cover 6 hours. Because within 6 hours, in Zimbabwe, you get what I'm saying? So, ideally, if you're going to do pre-purchase inspection with Arthur, just know Arthur serves your best interest. But if you think that Arthur, with your budget, and you have brokers, you should take the extra, pay the extra 200,000, and then we go see those cars after we've seen mine. Ideally, if you don't want to incur that extra cost, if you come and you want to see cars that brokers have gotten for you, let's go see those cars first, because you're not paying for me to get you cars. You're paying for me to help you find a good car among the cars you have already seen. So let's go. We see the cars that brokers have seen for you. And if those cars are better than what I could get, you, I will tell you to buy that car. And we will drive and we'll go our separate ways. Because you have already paid me. But should you think that after I've showed you the options, I've showed you brokers can actually get you better cars, just go and buy those cars from them. I don't know if I make sense. You get? Because in Tawanyi, sometimes you cancel meetings, like when the day we bought the Spacio, I cancelled meetings that I could have had if we had made a decision on the Spacio very quickly. But I cancelled meetings only to go and see shitty cars that are not worth the money. So for me to cancel my meetings when I know that with the cars I've showed you, you could get a good deal, over there a good deal, you should pay me an extra money for my extra time. Kati charging extra time. For the guys that are new to this channel, I do pre-purchase inspection. If you're going to buy a car and you want to get a good car, you want to get a good deal, I'm your guy. You pay 400,000 and that money covers a mechanic and my time and the fuel that gets us to the cars. Ideally, I recommend that you get your cars from whichever broker you get, round them off, and then we go move and see those cars. But if you cannot, then I can help you get those options. No, Emma, Nanyize, do you know why Nanyize? It's because the key things I keep telling you here, the brokers know the same things. Ne broker ne bwaba muganda utajja kugamba. At least akutomeza asobola okufuna emitwalo 3 gayagala okufuna. Okitegeera? But nze, the moment you give me your 400,000, you've already given me money. Kyenkugamba nkigamba out of, I don't want to say the goodness of my heart, because then that would be probably praising myself. Emma Nanyize, because ekintu kye nagamba omwami ono a week ago, broker we gwe yawadde ne transport addemu atutambuze mu mamotoka. Okitegeera? Nachimugamba at the end nganze maze okwechanga mugambe ye motoka bwogigula sigisaako mukono gwange. The broker told him literally the same thing. nti emmoroka eyo gy'oyagala tosobola gifunamu ssente ezo okitegeera. And then we ended up buying a car that I still got him, of which emmoroka senga twasazeewo twabadde tugigula nengera nenkola n'ebyange okitegeera. But I've killed a day, ontegeera, I've killed a day only to buy the thing that I showed you earlier in the day with the information I gave you. The broker amala nakkiriza, ate broker yakkiriza because namaze kambuwala ne muka negwe naawe ono omuntu omuyita mukwano gwo naye lwaki tomugamba amazima, kwe kwogera amazima. This just reminds me of the times I go shopping with my woman. Tuvayo nyize because she never makes up her mind. Exactly. Arthur, if I have my money, is it possible to get me a car without my presence? It's possible, but I recommend that you're present. Why? Because byenjagala oyinza obutabyagala. Okitegeera, you have things that you value that probably I would not value in a car. It's possible, but I always recommend that you come and be there for us to look for the car together. So that when Sima naawe okola ki? Naawe osiima. Okitegeera. Because actually when we went back to the Spacio, then the guy was, hey man, motoka nno nnungi man. And I actually also saw that the car was actually nice. You can imagine that the next day they are giving him more than the money he bought. I think abamuwa mu money basuubuzi. You can imagine. Omusuubuzi okugulako emmotoka gye waguze eggulo ng'ate gwe tewagiguzenga musuubuzi. Okitegeera. So Emma, yes, nanyizeemuko because nange ndi muntu. One thing you guys have to understand is that the 400,000 you guys give me nyingi kuba gwe gwozifulumya naye kunze ntono. You can imagine you give me 400,000 and then bw'ozimpa bwoti nsiga za 25. Kwaga 25, I can tell you that kwene emmoroka gye twaguze olunaku olwasooka twavuga kilomita ndooza nga 8. That's around 5 liters of fuel. The day we bought the Spacio, we drove the same amount of mileage. That's another 5 liters. That's 10 liters. Okitegeera kwa mtwalo 25 gompadde already nzijeeko emitwalo emeka? Already nzijeeko emitwalo nga 6. Okitegeera nsigaze emitwalo 19. Ku mitwalo 19, when I have a client in my car, I cannot eat when they're not eating. Okitegeera. And this everyone can attest. Everyone can attest. Era buli bwenda bange moroka yinzo tuwamu obuzibu sirya mmere nange ndya binyeebwa naawe n'olya ebinyeebwa. Because I realize that we are going to drive a lot of fuel because the car is rare. Okitegeera. So that's how it works. Nti bwendaba if the car will be very hard to do. Because ate siyinza gulira gwe kane makanika mugulira. There are actually times that we stop somewhere makanika naga nayo manyi atampa yekyebiri. Tuyiribye nnyo. No muwe ekyebiri. Those are things that I don't tell you that happen. I do this thing out of passion because I'm building something that probably give me more money than you can ever give me. Okitegeera. I'm building a brand out of all your good reviews that will get me something bigger than you can give me. Okitegeera. And I'm sure the guys that bought good cars with me can attest to this. Okitegeera. This is something that I told myself, JK, that you give me your 400k, me I want to eat, ate siyinza kwegulira ne sikugulira. Okitegeera. And sometimes with my kind of clients, ajange ezaana zazokuwa nga ziri zasigazaamu zize. Okitegeeza emergency, and I totally understand. Ne bwaba ne million 3 ku account, bwaba zegula moroka million 15 nga nsasudde. Let the lunch be part of the service. Let the obunyeebwa bwengula. Okitegeera. But one thing that disturbs me, but goba totawanyizibwa because for you you're looking for a car. Okitegeera. But the reason why me I'm being disturbed is because I know the search is futile. Okitegeera. The search is futile. It's like you telling JK najja nakugamba wanono mu kisenyi wozimba the integrity of the building, you will need like 200 bags of cement in the foundation alone. JK is educated in that field. Amanyo kusinga. Negwe nomugamba JK nedda nyina yo engineer kamuyite wana ategeere nga nawe bwotegeera. Nomuletera akasajja akayiga okuzimba akayigira ku site. Naye nga JK ina experience from Denmark. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Kati JK tayinza butanyiga because obato mubazeemu magezi ate nomuletera omuntu nga byakola tabitegeera. Because some of these brokers in the market, especially brokers that are our friends, they are amateur. abasinga business bajingira lockdown ng'ebintu bitabuse kati abatamanyi byakola. That's why I keep telling you, the city broker, you realize the people that I bought cars with, I never even make phone calls. All these brokers that my mechanic calls, I know them, but I never call them. You know why? Because I don't want to be compromised. And I see very clear the mechanic angabanga ali compromised. I can see through him nengamba kati no bagenda muwa sente. Ira nenkuze bali the people that are bought cars with me era mukimanyi nkuze bali nenkamba omanyi mechanic no kati anonya walira naye gwe tofayo kati shikwasaganye. I've told you time and again. I've told you time and again, a mechanic is not your friend. You need to know how to deal with him. A broker is not your friend. You need to know how to deal with him. Okitegera. Omusagujja kukwatira yo fune moroke nungi. Boba tofa yo bokoze roso oba tokoze itsoke gende wa makanika. The chances tajja kulondera moroke nungi nga bamuwadde enjawulo ye. Naye watya tagirondanga nungi. What happens? Watya bakuba nokola rosi ya milioni nga nnya. Gojja kuba tokimanyi naye what if you know, you learn like months later. Guy yankuba million nya number. Okitegeera. You are the right person to work with if you value your brand for the long haul. Reputation matters. Definitely, JK, you're right. Some people don't care about trust. People don't. Banange babroka banyiza. You can imagine omuntu yadda tuze motoko tutwale matuganga ne motoko jagenda okugula tamanyi bei yayo, tamanyi mbeera mweri. Okitegeera. But anyway, natuse nenzikakana. I just wanted to bring it out here because it brings an implication. But mutamanya how I felt at that moment. Temujja kumanya lwaki I'm charging an extra 200,000. Okitegeera. So for the guys that are going to come to me for pre-purchase inspection, this is what you're going to do. Get all your brokers bakubira amasimu bakugambe moroka eri wano na wano na wano na wano na wano na wano. Okay? Now when you come to me, we go see those cars. I'm quite sure that most of the times we will get a good car out of those cars if there are a number of options. Newezibange moroka zidi mbibanda. And trust me, tetugulanga ko motoka mu kibanda. And I keep telling you, you go to those used car bonds, majority of the time the cars are not nice. We have never bought a car from a bond in there. Nti tuyingire mu kabanda tujeye motoka. We have never. Because majority of those cars, if it's good, it's overpriced. It's cheap, it's bad. That's literally how it works. And literally sometimes we go to those bonds because the client himself ayagala ogule motoka yakubye yesimu broker namugamba jangu ale machindi wali waka motoka akalungi. Majority of the time the cars are bad. I have to go, guys. So but it's not to show the frustration, and trust me, it was not the fault of Nico. He thought this broker was his friend. And I kept telling me, no, ono guy mukwano gwange. Ono guy mukwano gwange. That's how we always think. I will tell you tata one baba tata onga broker. It's like when you chibanga muntu kuvuga border, gubanga muzimu oguba kwata. Ntiko utaniko kuvuga border amagezi gonna gafuruma. When someone be learned it, he kept saying mukwano gwange. Okitegera. But either mukwano go, either si mukwano go, oba byakola ya tabimanyi. He's an amateur. Okitegera. So let me just go through the names, guys. Arthur, Council, Patrick, Emma, thank you always for reminding me. I'm sorry, JK, for being late. Mboze badde kutta katine mukyala wange lera abaana tebasomye. So I took her to work and she was seated in the front here. So mboze badde kutta kati. Joseph, Martha, JK, of course, Adrian Mogerwa, Sammy, your advice knows abagifunye bulungi. Kevin, Pascal, Joseph, Nathan, Gideon, Adams, Senyonjo. Of course, we have like many Adams. Daniel, Brian, Champion Morgan, Okot Simon, Peter, Central Forex, Samuel Grace, Michael Uzinda. I think those are the guys that have engaged today. Central Forex, of course. Chris Da Vinci. And Brian, I think you have seen Chris Da Vinci Simanyoba to Zemu on how much he got. But I think the best interview for us to do would be for Chris Da Vinci, me and Chris Da Vinci, where Chris Da Vinci actually tells us how his insurance paid him and how much of council, I think Juko Nathan Nkogedeko, Chris, I would probably talk to Chris Da Vinci for him to tell us the experience with ProEduSave. Moses Adams. Yeah, I think those are the guys that have engaged today. And the guys in Kamoli, I don't take you for granted. Which that you take the time to actually watch this broadcast. And I hope that your time is worth it and your data ntitomufirwa mumujja ne muri broadcast zino ntisibira mu worokoso nti ate mufunamu. Yeah, but don't forget guys, I do pre-purchase inspection. I'm one of the guys that will totally serve your interest. Of course, you're paying me a money to serve your interest, your Kalito money. But with your Kalito money, you're paying me. Of course, you're helping me build a brand that will pay me much more than I can get from this channel later on in life. So I'm the kind of person that looks at long term. JK Burichenko ranchilaba in a long term sense. That's probably why I'm even in Uganda. In Uganda, in my kind of area, in my expertise, if I stay in Uganda, I have more benefits when I'm in my 40s. So if I stay here, I can build that, and in my 40s, I'll reap. Joining late and will listen to the earlier portion. Thank you very much for coming, Jack. Yeah, good morning. I hope you're doing well. So I have to go, guys. I wish you a very, very, very fruitful day. I'll see you tomorrow in the morning. Ciao.